My next guest is one of America's foremost game conservationists. That's what it says on his passport. He's also known for a few other things, such as an Academy Award, and I always think of him face down in Gloria Swanson's swimming pool in Sunset Boulevard. This is a list of the films he has made, and there are so many great ones in here. Stalag 17, The Moon is Blue, Executive Suite, Sabrina, The Bridges at Toko-Ri, The Country Girl, Love is a Many Splendid Thing, Picnic, The Bridge in the River Kwai, The World of Susie Wong, The Wild Bunch, Sunset Boulevard, and of course, An Apartment for Peggy. Last and certainly least, I expect. There are many more. William Holden is one of the best actors Hollywood ever turned out, and he's been around proving it over and over and over again. And here he is tonight. Will you welcome Mr. William Holden, Gee, I saw An Apartment for Peggy a dozen times. Did you?
No, it wasn't that bad, was it?
No, no. I wondered if you were considered a conservationist because you, in movies, saved so many turkeys. Oh. Well, but is that true that you changed your passport to read game conservationist instead of
Yes,
actor?
I did. I just, at one time, I had an entry form to fill out in a passport thing, and I was in the Rome airport. I was going into Italy, and I wrote conservationist on it, and the fellow looked at me, and he took the pencil and crossed it out and wrote actor. So,
Changed it back.
I guess I have to consider that a compliment, because he could have written ham.
Yes, right, or drawn one on there.
Yeah.
How do you make the distinction between a hunter and a conservationist? Can a hunter be a conservationist? It isn't.
Yes, a hunter can contribute toward conservation. If a hunter hunts and pays his license fee, then he's contributing something, an amount of money to conservation effort, establishment of national parks and things like that. I disagree with the hunter shooting a trophy animal, though. Now, look, you have your conservationists on one side and the hunters on the other. And I think there's a great wide gray area in between, because we all recognize that certain animals have to be cropped in order to allow them to keep living, really. And in the case of hippo along the Nile River, Victoria Nile, they are now foraging for food at night 3 miles away from the river. Well, there are just too many hippo to contain in that area, and some should be cropped. But when a hunter goes out and he shoots the trophy animal, he wants the largest set of tusks, and he wants the biggest set of horns, and he wants the biggest this or that, what he does is that he's destroying that bull that has already survived over a period of years and proven himself to be a little better in his species than the common, ordinary run of animal. And so when he kills that bull, which he's allowed to do, females are never shot, but then he is destroying the king, you see? And hunters always pass up the small. Well, I'll give you an example. 60 years ago in Kenya, it was not uncommon to shoot an elephant and get over 100 pounds per tusk of ivory. Today, it's very rare to find an elephant that has over 60 pounds of tusk. That means that the inferior elephant has been passed over in the years, and that the hunter has gone for the trophy animal. Then, on the other hand, you have the ultra conservationists who say, well, you can't kill any animals. Well, that I don't believe in. I think that there should be cropping. What I would like to see is a perfect melding between the game departments and the rules and regulations that they set up, and they say, you will be allowed to shoot these animals that we will have to shoot anyway. We'll have to crop and get rid of.
Yeah, let's see.
Well, then how do you do that? Would you separate the good from the bad?
Yes, it would be determined by the professional hunter and be determined by the game department in what areas you could shoot at a certain time.
I remember, was it Robert Ruark referring once? I was a kid, I read I Married Adventure by Osa Johnson. And I remember, I think it was Ruark referring to the supposedly humanitarian Martin Johnsons, who slaughtered more animals single-handedly than than I don't know what. Can't think of a simile or whatever. But and what about Hemingway, for example? He was a hunter. Do you think when a celebrity is a famous hunter, it contributes to the death of valuable animals?
It might encourage hunting, trophy hunting. Let me tell you the difference between, I was a hunter when I first went to Africa.
I thought
Kenya.
you were. I seem to remember.
Well,
pictures
I
of it.
went there on a safari. I didn't go for trophy game. In Kenya, we have the big five, which is leopard, lion, rhino, elephant, and buffalo. I did not take a license to shoot 4 of the 5. I only took a license to shoot buffalo, which is one of the 5, and yet there are plenty of them. I wouldn't be diminishing any kind of species by shooting one. I've always felt that when one is out, one shoots for the pot, that is in order to eat, and also you shoot for perhaps a rug or some trophy of some sort. But it's got to serve 2 purposes, not one. At least that's the way I feel about it. Now, let's take a hunter who goes, and let's say in 1958 when I went, and he shoots some trophy game, and then 10 years later he goes back, and he hasn't seen the game diminish. All he can remember is that the fact that he got some trophies and he'd like to get some more. In my case, I went back every year, maybe 2 or 3 times, and slowly I got out of hunting into the work of conservation, because I can see diminishing game, and I can see the areas that they're restricted to, which would normally be there. What was their normal habitat is being developed into agricultural development. And I do want these animals to be here long after I'm gone and for future generations.
It's sickening when you read about what's happening to the animals in Africa. I was glad to hear you talk on television about the spotted furs, because it's a favorite subject of mine. I was so stunned by what I've read about those, and the old chicks who wear the spotted fur coats. And if they don't know, if they're ignorant of the fact that those animals are disappearing, that's one thing. But some of them, I think, wear them because they're so rare, which is
Well,
really
that's true. They are
terrible,
expensive,
you know,
and they set you apart. But I don't mind any animal that is prolific, that breeds in captivity. But it's almost impossible to get a lot of these cats to breed in. Cheetah is very, very difficult. I can only think of about 7 cheetah that ever have been bred in captivity in the history of capturing them.
I'm feeling very badly about this whole thing because, of course, I'm...
You've got a coat.
Yes.
Well, the point is, don't get the next one.
I'll do that. Thank you very much. No more leopards, except
You
the ones
could sell it and send the money to the New York Zoological Society.
Do you know...
Or not.
Well, I've had these leopard skins for so long, fur dresses and leopard coats and things like that. And I didn't feel the way I feel now about it. But when I bought my coat, it was over 10 years ago when it was at a certain price. Now I can get 3 times as much money for it, and I don't want to sell it now.
And another thing, the species was not endangered at that time, but it's
you
getting
made me
very
feel
close.
so much better. Thank you.
Yes.
You just give me
But
the
sell it
fallback
anyway.
now.
Sorry. I read a lot about your film career and all, and I know that I like the fact that interests you less than these other things. Oh, let's get back to that. We only have a couple minutes in this segment. What about this subject of poachers in Africa? What can be done about those? Are they Africans or are they our poachers, so to speak?
No, they're Africans, and they are the greatest menace to wildlife, because a poacher doesn't kill for the pot. He'll kill for a skin or a tail or a head or a rhino horn. There's some misconception about rhino horn serving as an aphrodisiac, and it's ground up and sent to China and India.
Rhino horns an aphrodisiac?
Yes, it's they powder. The horn is not really a horn; it's hair, and they powder this and they add it to their soups.
And it tastes awful, folks.
But no, the poacher is the real problem.
And how can that? Is there any hope to?
Through
eradicate that?
Yes, through the various game departments, by watching and creating new areas to be covered by game wardens.
I see. We must. When you're on the go, is this Santa flush? Of course not. From morning to night. Here's how to stay shower fresh all day long. Watch and do likewise.